Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How's everybody? I hope you're doing well. I welcome you to iQuanta-Patna. My name is Ajay Kumar, and I'm part of the iQuanta faculty here in Patna. Today, we'll be dealing with reading comprehension passage. And as you know, reading comprehension plays a significant role in your success when you are taking CAT. So it is paramount that you practice reading comprehension every day, because practice makes perfect. If you don't practice, it'll become an ordeal. Ordeal meaning a difficult, tedious task. Extensive reading will enable you to understand the paradigm and answer the questions successfully. As you are aware, in CAT, you deal with long reading comprehension passages within a allotted time frame, and that creates a lot of pressure. And under pressure, some people focus, some people fold. And I want you to focus. So in order to facilitate that, let's go to the passage and deal with it. So here we go. We have this passage here, and I'll be reading this for you so that you understand what the author is saying, and then we'll deal with the questions. So let's begin. The sleights of hand that conflate consumption and virtue are a central theme in A Thirst for Empire, a sweeping and rich detailed history of tea by the historian Erica Rappaport. So basically what she's saying here, a sleight of hand. Sleight of hand is successful deception. So skillfully, when you deceive somebody, a sleight of hand. So, and conflate basically says that when you combine two things and make one, that is conflate. So conflate consumption with virtue. Well, high morals and good habits, I'd say. So they are the central theme in A Thirst for Empire, a sweeping and richly detailed history of tea by the historian Erica Rappaport. How did tea evolve from an obscure China drink to a universal beverage imbued with civilizing properties? Now, imbued here means filled with deep emotion or opinion or feeling. The answer in brief revolves around this conflation, not only by profit-motivated marketers, but a wide variety of interest groups. While abundant historical records have allowed the study of how tea itself moved from east to west, Rappaport is focused on the movement of the idea of tea to suit particular purposes. Beginning in the 1700s, the temperance movement advocated for tea as a pleasure that cheered but did not inebriate, and industrialists soon borrowed this moral argument in advancing their case for free trade in tea and hence more open markets for their textiles. So here what's saying is temperance movement. Let me bring this up. Okay, I'll bring it here. So temperance movement, as we see here, temperance means a practice of abstaining from irrational actions, and basically this temperance movement was about seeking restriction on the consumption of alcohol. So here we see, beginning in the 1700s, the temperance movement advocated for tea as a pleasure that cheered but did not inebriate. Inebriate is to intoxicate. And industrialists soon borrowed this moral argument in advancing their case for free trade in tea and hence more open markets for their textiles. Factory owners joined in, compelled by the cause of a sober workforce, while Christian missionaries discovered that tea would soothe any colonial encounter. Now here we are talking about tea as something that does not intoxicate, and basically it provides a sober workforce. It can provide a sober workforce. And Christian missionaries, they were talking about colonial encounters. Now, colonial encounters are basically the interaction between the people who were colonizing people in different parts of the world and the natives. So interaction between those two groups. During the Second World War, tea service was presented as a social and patriotic activity that uplifted soldiers and calmed refugees. But it was tea's consumer-directed marketing by importers and retailers, and later by brands, that most closely portends current trade debates. Portends here, this means a sign that tells you about something that's going to happen, an unfortunate incident. So portends current trade debates. As an early version of the farm-to-table movement was sparked by anti-Chinese sentiment and concerns over trade deficits. Trade deficits, basically, it is when you import, and whatever you get from what you pay for the import, if that is more than what you get from the export when you're exporting. So that is basically the trade deficit. So difference between the money that you give for import and what you receive from export. So that's the difference, and that's called trade deficits. As well as the reality and threats of adulterated tea containing dirt and hedge clippings. Adulterated here, this means to mix something that is not pure, and basically you're making the purity of the product, less than what it was earlier by mixing foreign things, or basically inferior quality products. Lipton was soon advertising from the garden to teacup supply chains originating in British India and supervised by educated Englishmen. While tea marketing always presented direct consumer benefits, health, energy, relaxation, tea drinkers were also assured that they were participating in a larger noble project that advanced the cause of family, nation, and civilization. So basically, what it's saying is, apart from the health, energy, and relaxation benefits, it was also something more that was projected, that is basically related to the cause of family, nation, and civilization, advancing the cause of family, nation, and civilization. So that was a bigger step there. Rappaport's treatment of her subject is refreshingly apolitical. Apolitical means there's no particular inclination towards a political side, which are being neutral, apolitical. Indeed, it is a virtue that readers will be able to guess her political orientation. So political in orientation, generally people have political orientation, but if you say their vision is apolitical, that means they are not supporting any political group and they are being neutral. Both the miracle of markets and capitalism's dark underbelly are evident in tea's complex story, as are the complicated effects of British colonialism. Commodity histories are now themselves commodities. Recent works investigate cotton, salt, cord, sugar, chocolate, paper, and milk. And morality marketing is now a commodity as well, applied to food, fair trade, apparel, and eco-tourism. So what it's saying is, now, not just the product, but the study of the advancing of the product in different markets or in society, that has become a commodity. That means people are paying for that, and it has become very significant in the world. Okay, where were we? Yet tea is, Rappaport makes clear, a world apart. An astonishing success story in which tea marketers not only succeeded in conveying a sense of moral elevation to the consumer, but also arguably did advance the cause of civilization and community. I have been offered tea at a British garden party, a Bedouin campfire, a Turkish carpet shop, and a Japanese shashitsu, to name a few settings. Now, Japanese shashitsu here, basically, it's a tea room. That means it's a tea room. And chanyu, there's another expression, which means the tea ceremony, which basically symbolizes Japanese aesthetics and spirituality. So spirituality and aesthetics basically are becoming now basically part of this tea room, and tea is involved in this whole scenario. In each case, the offering was more an idea, friendship, community, respect, than a drink. And in each case, the idea then created a reality. It is not a stretch to say that tea marketers have advanced the particularly noble cause of human dialogue and friendship. So basically, it's going beyond tea. It's creating an environment, an aura that is very supportive, that is basically influencing the community to come together, and it enhances friendship, relationships, and interactions. So this is the basically the passage which is talking about tea in a different role, not just as a drink, but as an influencer. So now let's look at the questions. Okay, question 1. The author of this book review is least likely to support the view that, number 1, tea drinking was sometimes promoted as a patriotic duty. So obviously she is supporting this view, because obviously it was portrayed as, a promotion of patriotic duty. The ritual of drinking tea promotes congeniality and camaraderie. So that was also there in the passage. Congeniality means, a pleasant situation, pleasant discourse, and camaraderie, brotherhood, say a good relationship between people. Tea drinking has become a social ritual worldwide, which has, because it started from, China, and at that time it was pretty obscure. But later on, it evolved as an influencing factor in development of trade, commerce, and also in bringing people together for the good of the world. Now, number 4, tea became the leading drink in Britain in the 19th century. This is not mentioned in the passage. Obviously, all 3 are there, but this one is the odd one out. So in that case, basically it's not being supported. So you can say number 4 is the answer to this question. Now, we move on to the next one. Let's close this. Okay, question 2. The book review argues that, according to Rappaport, tea is unlike other morality products because it is not like other products, morality products. So let's see what she means. Appeal to a universal group and not just a niche section of people, not a particular section of people, a smaller niche, like you said, niche market or something that is basically a small section. Obviously, it did appeal to the universal group. Number 2, had an actual beneficial effect on social interaction and society in general. Okay, that is basically the main view of this passage. Number 3, was actively encouraged by interest groups in the government. and number 4 was marketed by a wide range of interest groups. So given, obviously, there were a lot of people, interest groups and other people involved in this, but the best answer to this is basically number 2 here. Had an actual beneficial effect on social interaction, society in general. So it's giving you the bird's eye view, basically what it entails, what is the crux of this passage. So number 2 would be the right answer. So now we move on to number 3. According to this book review, A Thirst for Empire says that in addition to profit-motivated marketers, tea drinking was promoted in Britain by all the following except. So it's saying it was promoted by everybody except. So we have to find the exception here. Factories to instill sobriety in their labor, which was there because people were interested, those factory owners were interested to have labor force which was not intoxicated. Tea drinkers lobbying for product diversity. Well, this was not there actually, but let's go on and see option 3 and 4. Manufacturers who were passing for duty-free imports, yes, they were looking for duty-free imports, and that's why this whole thing was being propagated. The anti-alcohol lobby was a substitute for the consumption of liquor. The anti-alcohol lobby as a substitute for the consumption of liquor. We did talk about the temperance movement, which was advocating the basically restriction on consumption of alcohol. So this was also there. So here we have number 2 as the answer, which was an exception. Now, again, we'll move on to the next one. Question 4. Today, conflating consumption with virtue can be seen in the market of conflating. Conflating, as I told you earlier, when you mix two things to make one, that is conflation, conflating consumption with virtue. So here they are mixing consumption with virtue, that is high moral standards or good habits, so something like that. So today, conflating consumption with virtue can be seen in the market of sustainable farmed foods. Sustainably farmed foods, ergonomically designed products, travel to pristine destinations, natural health supplements. Well, almost near the end of the passage, we did discuss about different products that were farm goods. So in this case, the answer would be number 1. So basically this concludes the passage and the questions here. I hope I was able to explain it to you properly and you understood all the details. So I wish you all the best and you all have a great day. Thank you. Okay. Political थोड़ा सा प्रोनाउंसिएशन एक दो ठो का हमारा जो है ना जनरली जो होता है वो यहाँ पे नहीं